What it do, peoples? What it do? How's everybody doing? I hope you had an awesome Wednesday. I'm so amped up about tonight. Second edition of Man Cave. Me and the fellas, we getting together to chop it up about different topics that pertain to men. And so I'm excited about our topic for tonight. But before we go ahead and jump, we want you to go ahead and make sure you like and share. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe to make sure you can get notified whenever we go live. We got to let you know that at 7:15, the Alive teens, they will be in the Zoom. That's in the comment section. So if you got any teenagers that love Jesus, that want to have a desire to connect with Jesus and to connect with others, they can go ahead and be a part of that tonight at 7:15. And so that Zoom link is right in the comment section, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, it'll be in that comment section. So that way you can have your team, your young person be a part of that. I'm hearing but nothing but great reviews from our young people, from our staff. Pastor Amber and Brother Keith is doing a wonderful job with that. And so I'm so excited. We're even closer to our teens going to Love City, June 27th through the 30th. I'm so amped up. I know it's going to be a life-changing encounter for them as they have this experience, not only to go to Houston, be at Love City, but to have this intimate time with one another and build relationships. And so I'm so amped up. Fellas, I want to remind you, June 11th, we're going to hang out at Jack Stack in Lee Summit, Missouri, 6 p.m. I want you to join your boy. Come hang out for some food, some fun, and some fellowship. It's going to be a blast. Last few times we did it, we had such a ball. And so I want you to be a part. The deadline is this Friday, June the 10th. June the 10th is the deadline. So please make sure you text your information to 816-670-3684. That's 816-670-3684. We want to encourage you to go ahead, make sure you comment, make sure you say something in the chat, even through this discussion that we're having. Hey, if you got a question, go ahead and put it in the comment section. We're not going to ignore you. I promise. We're not going to ignore you. We're going to see your question and we're going to dive into it because that's just what we do. That's just what we do. And so let's no more. Let's delay no more. I'm excited to introduce my brothers who are with me on tonight. Of course, you know my brother from another mother, but we got the same father because we serve the Lord Jesus Christ. So you know he ride with me. So y'all give it up for Will Parker Jr.
Yeah, what it do, my brother? Man Cave edition.
Oh shucks. And so hey, you know, we couldn't stop there. Hey, I invited this guy on, he accepted. I'm so grateful that he accepted. He's my AIM brother. We built a bond, a relationship over this past year, and I'm just so excited that he's with us. Put it up for Pastor Sylvester Carter.
God bless you. Hey, man of God. Hey,
you know, if we was together, we do this. I'd be like, hey there, Pastor Carter. Hey, that's Will. That's my brother right there.
Pastor Carter, what it do, my brother?
Hey, my friend, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Good to meet you, my brother. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you also.
Hey, and then not last but not least, I got my fam bam in here with me. I'm just so excited. Hey, I'm so excited. This young man, hey, he's just grown. For him to even to agree to be up on here. Hey, this is the second time we got him on live. He was with us on Off the Cuff, a man's point of view. And so I'm excited. Put your hands together. He works with our teens. Keith Cannon II. What it do, fam?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Brother Keith.
How you fellas doing?
Hey, great. Keith, how are you, brother?
Doing well.
Oh my goodness. And hey, I'm expecting to have some fun tonight. This topic that we talking about tonight, it took the world by storm. It took the slap heard around the world. And so before we jump into it, I want to show y'all this video just in case you've been underneath the rock or or you ain't been on social media or watch TV or whatever. You don't know what we talking about. I want you to watch this real quick.
Now that the situation has calmed down, more and more celebrities are coming forward to share their opinions regarding the incident.
Okay.
While many have criticized Will Smith for his irrational behavior, Chris Rock is also being criticized for igniting.
Okay. I'm gonna cut that out. They said it wasn't no sound on the video for some strange reason. I don't know why.
You don't need no sound. We seen that smack.
So as you can see, Chris Rock was at the Oscars. It was Will Smith's big night. They knew he was just going to win the Oscar and everything. So Chris Rock makes a joke comparing his wife to G.I. Jane. Will Smith laughs. He sees his wife. He walks up on stage. He smacks the fire out of Chris Rock. You have people on both sides. Later in the video, you see Jim Carrey say, "Hey, you should not be able to go up and smack another human being. You just shouldn't do that." Then you had Tiffany Haddish right after, who said, "Hey, I saw a man stand up for his wife, and it gives me hope." And so first off, I want to ask y'all, when y'all first saw it, did y'all think it was real?
I did not think it was real, Pastor Harris. I did not, man. Just a man walking up on the stage. You got two actors, two comedians, and yeah, it did not seem like it was real, man.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. For a second, because I seen Jada roll her eyes, but I still didn't think nothing of it at the time. I didn't think it was real when he smacked him until he got back at his seat and he said, keep my wife's name. Then I said, oh, this is actually for real. But the slap, I said, nah, because he took it like a G. He was like, oh. So I didn't think it was real at first either. I thought it was scripted.
Well, for me, I didn't see it live, so I heard about the smack portion of it. So I actually watched it after some of the backlash. Somebody caught me up on the events that had taken place, so I knew it was real off the flip once I seen it.
Oh man. We was at home. I didn't watch the Oscars, and so my wife is like, she finds out all the news. So she getting phone calls and texts and everything talking about Will Smith done slapped Chris Rock, and I was like, eh. So I looked it up. I said, that's fake. That's fake. That's fake. I didn't believe it until the aftermath. Until the aftermath. So let me ask y'all this question: If you Chris Rock, what is your response? You at the Oscars, you say this joke, and this man come up on stage. How are you handling that?
I shout out to Chris Rock, man. He handled it better than I could. I'm a grown man, and he kept it real professional. I can't let another man put his paws on me, man. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I love God. And I know everybody take the turn the other cheek out of context. But listen, I can't. he would have had better off luck punching me than smacking me. So, but Chris Rock, hey, I had to hold my hat off to him. I don't know if I would have been able to maintain my composure. I don't know. That's one of those situations I would almost have to be in. But me looking at it, I don't know if I would have been, especially since he knew it was real the whole time. I don't know, man. Shout out to Chris Rock, man, for holding his composure.
Yeah, I would have to say that I mean, looking at it, you thought it was scripted. I mean, I thought it was fake. But at the same time, when like Will said, when he went back to his seat and started yelling, then I knew it was real. So now I'm Christian. I'm a pastor. I have to say, my spirit was saying, no, don't trip. But my flesh was saying, he just hit you. Somebody just put their hands on you. And, all of that, I know we do say, turn the other cheek, and we ought to be practicing that. But until you actually get in that position, you don't know what your response will actually be. I would hope that I could be like Chris Rock and just be like, oh, I took that. But hopefully I could keep my flesh in check. Hopefully I could have kept my flesh in check and would have been like, you know what, I'm just going to take this. But I will also be like Jim Carrey. I need 22 million for that smack, brother. This went all around the world. I need 22 million.
Yeah, I would agree with the brothers. It would have been tough to back down without altercation continuing. Would have been pretty tough to handle.
Oh my! Hey, I people say to turn the other cheek. Hey, that's for the gospel's sake. This the Oscar. That ain't got nothing to do with the gospel. that ain't got nothing to do with the gospel. That's the Oscars. That's the Oscars. But I was amazed, especially when I got a little bit of the back. I was watching Jamal Bryant, and he went in. You know Jamal Bryant. Anything social like that, he all over it. And one of the things he kind of talked about was everybody was talking about after it happened was talking about Will Smith's past. They was talking about his book had just came out, and he talked about how he couldn't protect his mother, and in that moment it took him back to there, and he came from a different perspective because he talked about Chris Rock's background from the standpoint that that show Everybody Hates Chris, that was loosely based off his real life. He did go to a predominantly white school. He did get bullied a lot. And Jamal Bryant brought out from the standpoint there was one time he lost his anger and he almost killed a young man. And from that moment on, he did everything in his power. He's constantly going to counseling and things, and seeing a psychiatrist and things of that nature to never get to that point. And so I think it's interesting that one of the reasons why he was able to handle that situation the way he handled it, because of his past and because of his willingness to go to a therapist and work through those issues that he thought he had in his past, and that helped him prepare. Because a lot of times, especially in the African American community, therapy is basically shunned upon, unless you go to your back in the day, unless you went to your pastor. Your pastor was your therapist, your counselor, your everything. But to say you went to a licensed therapist, is taboo. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think we say this all the time when we're dealing with a faith fight. We talk about, if you don't prepare for the fight, you'll lose it. You can't prepare for the fight while you're fighting. So again, shout out to Chris Rock. If he's been going to therapy and dealing with his issues, no matter what they were, I understand why he was able to keep his flesh in check, because he's kind of been preparing for, not for that necessarily that moment, but preparing for just things throughout life. So yeah, man, therapy is very important. I think the only thing that kind of got me, and maybe he was just as shocked at us, man, you don't flinch, you don't put your hand up or nothing. You just take it like a G. I mean, I know it happened quick, but you know, even when something like that happened, normally you would still kind of pull back and still get caught. He just stood there like, what? So, but yeah, man. Again, I think that's good stuff, man. I think he through his life structure, I think he's prepared for some things, and I think that's why he was able to withstand that particular smack.
Yeah, we in the man cave, right? We in the man cave.
Hey, we know what you really gonna do. How you really think?
This is my first time in the man cave, so it's a pleasure to be on with you, man. But I think, like you said, therapy is kind of frowned upon in the African American community. However, like Will said, that Chris Rock going through therapy had prepared him for such a moment as this, man. And I give kudos to him for being able to stand like that. At the same time, you know, I would have been able to, I don't know, like I told you earlier, my flesh, man, I haven't had therapy. I'm just telling you. I hadn't had it, but you know, just going back to spending time in the presence of God and doing those type of regiments. And however, I do think, man, people do need to seek out professional help if you need it, because that anger galls people. You know, it's a lot of Christians in jail because of anger. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I had one pastor tell me, like, yeah, Christians, we go to jail too. And we have to be careful, man, that we don't allow our anger to get the best of us. And I think that's what Chris Rock, his therapist, has trained him for that moment. And I mean, but still, I know this is not about money, but I still have to go back to, you just embarrassed me, man. You really embarrassed me. I hadn't said nothing to you about it. I took it like a G, like I didn't even run after you. It wasn't even, you know, my second thought was I should have just ran and jumped on you while you was walking back to your seat, man. But he didn't even do that, man. He stood there and was just like, wow. And so, again, I do think the therapy is necessary. If it could help Chris Rock, amen, it can surely help us, you know. Yeah, for real.
Well, for me, I see a counselor pretty regularly, probably twice a month. And I think it's very beneficial. I think more people should do it. Gives you an outlet to express, and you're paying the person so they can't really judge you. So it's a pretty sweet deal if you need that. And I think most people do if you don't have some kind of sense of expressing freely, like your genuine self. If you don't have that, you definitely should seek professional counseling. And I do, and I can see how it correlates. I can definitely see how it correlates, because counseling allows you to work through the emotions that have come up in life before you go through them, or past lives after you went through it, to really analyze the situation logically and with someone who has an understanding of the picture that you painted. Because the counselor is never going to be involved in your situation. They only understand it as you dictated. And so being able to have a professional to analyze situations can be extremely beneficial to moving forward. Anybody who's on the fence, I say jump on over and go find you a counselor, because it's definitely a benefit. And like I said, I could see that going through counseling for a long period of time, being able to withstand such a rush of everything, whether it's the other people's perspective, whether it's your own feelings, whether it's your own background, whether it's the bullying, the man in you or the rage in you that's like, I need to attack back or say something different or do something different. That takes a piece about yourself to take that and keep on rolling. And like he carried on with the show from the clips that I seen. I seen that he kind of like, oh, he just slapped me. Let's take a break. Like he kept it moving, and that's top notch, really. That is top notch.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, because the thing about it is we see anger control in that instance of the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing. You see anger controlled and anger uncontrolled.
That's true.
And so many times, especially as men, that is the emotion that we've been most comfortable with. Anger. We express anger so easily, and I think it's imperative that we understand that we're more than just angry men. Because, you know, one of the things that so many people said, he was protecting his wife, and Lady E put this question. The whole thing was he was protecting his wife, especially you hear, I'm just going to be honest, Black women across social media on different shows, he was protecting his woman. Black women need to be protected. So the question is, do you think he was honestly protecting his wife?
Keith shaking his head. I got to hear from Keith.
Go ahead, Keith. Get in. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, honestly, from his perspective, yes. I think he was protecting the emotional state of whatever is going on behind closed doors. And but in the realm of a wife protection, no, absolutely not. He was defending nothing. He was just moving. He was energy in motion. He was an emotional wreck, just going to make a crash. That's all. That's all he was. He was just going to make a crash. And the woman plays a part in that. I am a firm believer. You can't protect who you can't correct, or you out here looking goofy behind their goofy decisions. And so if he don't have a stable relationship to where he can correct his wife when she's in the wrong or when she's out of line in the structure of the family, then it's hard to protect someone who's going to walk out of alignment of what the goal is. And in that moment, if that's the reaction she wanted for protection, that's all I don't know. It's not for me, for sure. That's for sure. It's not for me.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and step in. Honestly, I do not think that he was protecting his wife. According to how she looked at him after the joke was said, she kind of frowned and rolled her eyes, and it looked like, because he laughed at the joke too, and then all of a sudden, her looking at him side-eyed made him step into another role. And felt like he had to go and protect her. But I do not think that he was actually protecting her. I think that he was, I'll have to say, you know, if it was protection, it really wasn't protection. He got to a place where he was performing, trying to think that he was doing something that was going to help their relationship, but it ended up hurting him in the long run. I think that she could have, if she would have just said, no, just kind of, even if she rolled her eyes, and she could have at least stopped him from going up there. So I honestly don't think that he was protecting her. That's my thought, man.
I got a little bit different of a perspective, just because I had to do a little research when I seen this, because I said to myself, what made him so fed up that he was willing to approach Chris Rock in the public on a big stage like that? So that's what I wondered. I said, man, why was he so fed up? That was too quick for me. So after I did a little research, I learned that this wasn't the first time that Chris Rock and Jada been into it. This actually been going on for some time. So I'm kind of with you, brothers. I don't know if it was more out of protection. I think he was fed up.
Okay.
And that's what pushed him to go there, even in this public arena. I think he was fed up. And one thing I don't agree with how he did it, but one thing I do know for a fact for me is you could disrespect me. You can probably even smack me or punch me if I've done something to you. I might not retaliate back as quickly, but if you mess with my wife and kids, I snap. I don't play. I don't play when it comes to my wife. If you want to push my buttons, say something to my wife, say something to my kids, and you're going to get a reaction out of me, and I don't care where it is. So on that aspect, I actually agree with Will. And a lot of people don't, but I do, because I'm that guy. You can do anything you want to me. But when you do something to my wife on a consistent basis, and this has been going on for a while, or you get out of line with my kids, that's where Will Parker Jr. snaps. So on that aspect, I don't know if it was more about protection. I think it was more about being fed up, and that goes into the line he said, keep my wife's name out of your mouth, because it been in his mouth for some years. That's my perspective.
Y'all brothers said some good stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I think that was all about Will. I think that was all about Will. From even your perspective, Will, if someone is constantly saying, I know Will Parker Jr., there's going to be a conversation. There's going to be a conversation. If you feel like somebody is disrespecting your wife, especially if you feel like they've said it, done it more than once, a few times, there should be a conversation. And this is where we as men, we have to be willing, because they got too much money not to be able to get a hold of somebody. You Will Smith, if you want to sit down and talk to somebody, if you want to have a phone conversation, there's nobody who's going to stop you from getting in contact with Chris Rock and say, hey, Chris, I don't appreciate you. I feel like you being disrespectful to my wife. You said A, B, C, or D, or just A, or whatever the case may be. Right. I think it was all about Will. Even from the standpoint of, when he was younger, he couldn't protect his mother. And people threw that out there. At the end of the day, that's not about his wife. That's about him. That's about him feeling like, hey, I missed opportunities where I could have protected the woman I love. So here in this, because I'm going to be honest with you, from her facial expression, I didn't take hurt. I took agitated. I took annoyed. But from her facial expression, I didn't see like, oh my goodness, he's hurting me. Mm-hmm. So if she's agitated or irritated or whatever the case may be, then I think there should have been, at least even before that night, there should have been some conversation. And I think that's where many men lose it, because I'm be honest, there are men in jail right now because they were protecting their woman. There are men who have lost their life because they were protecting their woman from their perspective. And I'm not here to argue whether right or wrong, but what I am saying is, especially we as African American men, we got to really start taking a time back. Is this the best way to handle this? Because here's what I heard too. Everybody knew she had alopecia, and we found out everybody didn't know. And so I think it's important for us as men that we answer this question. What does it look like to protect your wife? What does it look like to protect the women in your life? Because I think we'll all agree that we want to protect the women in our lives. We don't want no hurt, harm, or danger coming to them. But what does that look like? And is there something we got to do in protecting them that says, hey, equal? Because here's my thing. Even if you didn't like what he said, I wouldn't have been mad if you hollered out, hey, Chris, chill out. To me, that's on the same level.
But Pastor Roman D, you got to think about this, though. we can use real life examples.
Mhm.
If I'm frustrated, I have someone to call to get me back down. I can call you and say, bro, let me tell you what's going on. What if I don't have nobody to call? Who's going to calm me down? Because again, I've been in situations, and you see my wife comment, I've been in situations and I'm driving on the street and something happens or deal with my wife, I snap immediately. I can't call Roman D at that particular minute. I'm just keeping it 100. All brothers don't have people to call that's gonna calm them down. Most brothers got guys that's gonna escalate it for them. You call somebody, they're gonna be like, man, what? He did what? Let's ride out on that cat. Let's do this. Let's do that. Everybody ain't like us. If you call me, I'm gonna be like, bruh, I'm gonna try to de-escalate you and calm you down. Maybe in the same way with Brother Keith and Pastor Carter here. They might try to calm you down, but depending on who you around, they might hype you up. So it sounds good to say he just could have said this, but every man reacts different. I'm just saying.
But my question is, I'm talking about even before.
Even before, bro. Who did he call? I mean, again, if he ain't calling nobody, it's building up. Bro, some cats don't like talking when you disrespect their people and their family. Everybody don't talk, bro. Some people don't talk. And Will Smith used to be a thug. I think people forgot. He used to be a thug, bro. Don't let the parents understand song confuse you. You look into the past, the cats from Philadelphia. All cats don't talk. All cats ain't trying to have conversation. I know it might be wrong, but it's a fact. Just saying.
Yeah.
There's something that keep the pastor.
Yeah, I think I agree with everybody, but I do believe that better roads could have been taken for Mr. Smith in this situation. I'm not saying that like I'm not married anymore, so I'm single at the present moment. So when it comes to defending my daughter, like I said, or just women in general, the women in my life, when it comes to defending them, I feel like there has to be an order put in place that they understand when it comes to defending them. Don't bring me goofiness. Don't bring me a situation you already incited and then trying to bring me to solve it. No, I'm not down for any goofiness. But if you're in order, according to our family code or whatever the case may be with my daughter, she's in order, in line with stuff. She knows if it goes awry, daddy got her back, hands down, standing there 10 toes, ready to do whatever. But if she's out of line, the correction goes to her and say, baby girl, we got to get back in line. I see where you messed up at. I see what you did. And so I think as men, you have to have that standard for our women to tell them like, hey, this is what I'm expecting. This is what you expecting to make things the way it's supposed to be. And then if anything comes along, I'm right with Will. What do we need to solve? But I'm a communicator, so I can talk it out. But still, if words don't need to be said or words can't be expressed, I'm ready to take the next step to defend whoever's behind me.
I agree with that, bro, Keith. I agree.
Hey man, I have to say, I when you guys were talking, I just thought about some incidents that happened years ago before I got saved, dating my wife. She was my girlfriend. We was at a club one night. Somebody say years ago. You know, we had to throw that out, Pastor Ross. Years ago. And so we were at a club and was coming out of the club. We got into my truck, and just right in front of us, it was a bunch of people, and all of a sudden, man, somebody just came and shot this one guy just right in front of us, and the guy took off running, and the guy that was shooting continued to shoot after him, and so I remember having a conversation with my wife, with my girlfriend at the time. I said, now, I don't ever want to be put in a situation between you and some dude. I'm just saying, I don't want to be put in a situation where my life could be taken because you're around here playing some type of game. And so my point simply is, she agreed to it. It's because we had that conversation. Had I not had that conversation with her, then the situation could have been like, okay, well, this is how we doing life, But my point again is because we sit down and because I gave her that my concern at that time, and we talked about it. She agreed to it. I mean, it was just in that split second that we talked about it. But I'm also saying that I am mature now, and I think we are mature enough to be able to have some conversations. And I think, again, going back to Will and Jada and Chris Rock, it all could have been talked about. It all could have been talked through so that, yeah, Jada, I'm going to say a joke about you. Well, what joke are you going to say? Let me approve the joke. Let me and Will approve the joke. I mean, I don't know, but my point is there have to be conversations. If we don't talk it out, then we subject to like Will Parker said, hey, I might not be the person that can talk. I might got my ride or die boys with me, and they gonna hype me up. And so you know what, man, I have to learn. I have to cut my ride or die boys off. we would all been in jail, man. I mean, so I had to get me some brothers like a Roman D, I need somebody, and I'm also, the type of person that I have to get back and process stuff. I remember just years ago, some of the foolishness, man, that we were into. I remember, packing guns and getting ready to go do stuff. But it was like I just was having those aha moments. Was just like, no, don't do that. Let it go. Let it go. Because if I had done what I was thinking about doing and all my boys saying, let's go do it, I'll probably just now be getting out of jail, man.
Yeah.
And so I'm simply saying there has to be a conversation. But now if you at that point where I think where Will is saying, I don't want to talk. I don't know if anybody can bring you down from that when you at that place.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to get to a point where we need some therapy to keep us in a position so that we won't go to that angry spot like Chris Rock, man.
Absolutely. Just to piggyback off of what you said at the end, I think the fit of rage is the thing we really got to handle. Yeah. Those fits of rage that especially us in the Black community have, us as Black men. That is, I mean, you just watch 7 and under football. You see them trying to amp them up to get into that state. And that becomes such a regular state for our traumatized young men to where they think the fit of rage is a part of their emotional package of tools. And it's really not. It's really the opposite. It's the downside to most things. And I think we need to have a conversation about being in that fit of rage and being able to get ourselves out of it, or having the people around us to get us out of that fit of rage, because that is a destroyer like no other.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all this question, because I'm hearing a lot about, connecting with other brothers, because that seems to be from a positive standpoint, that seems to be the thing that we're missing. It's like it's easy to find those friends who gonna hype you up. Let's go shoot them. Let's go do it. Take it to another level. But it's difficult to find those people who will be like, okay, I understand you mad, and you got a right to be. But let's pump the brakes for a second. Let's take a deep breath for a second, because what you're talking about, we both gonna end up in jail. Actually, you gonna end up in jail because I ain't going with you. you going by yourself. I love you. I'll bail you out after a couple of weeks, letting you sit in there. But you gonna be in jail. And so, what advice could we give to those brothers who don't have maybe have that, to who maybe need some advice that, hey, I get to from 1 to 1,000, just like that. You know, there are certain triggers for me. What advice would we give? Because, you know, we like to be practical. We love to be practical because there's some brothers out there who say, hey, that's me. That's me. Hey, you say the wrong thing and I'm going to get amped up. And then plus I got the type of wife that's going to egg me on and I'm really going to get amped up. Or I got the boys who, because that's, we ain't talked about that. Sometimes it's that woman, because I've seen the women in the comment section talking about the influence of a woman. You know, I've heard guys who are kind of calm, cool, and collect, but somebody do something to them, and then that woman get in that ear, and it take them from a 9 to a 3.5 million because now they woman talk them. You know, you gonna let them do this and that. I thought you supposed to be the man, and so and so what advice will we give to those guys?
Man, that's a tough one, man, because this goes back to what Keith said early. I'm just gonna put a label on it. Those silly women, you know, when you got those silly women, man, that is looking for trouble. They have mouths. They're edging on things and trying to take you to a place. And like I agree with Keith earlier with that. I'm not with that. I'm. You know, you want me to defend your honor when you acting silly. Now you gonna that's a whole nother situation. But that's tough, man. Not to have anybody you can call on. Not in your woman. Again, we know the power and influence with a woman, and the woman is edging you on. If you don't have nothing in you that want to mature and get better, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for that brother, man. And of course, you know they're not gonna go to counseling. So if you ain't got another brother, you ain't going to counseling. That's out the window. And your wife is hyping you up. It has to start in here with yourself to say, okay, I've done this, and this is the outcome. Maybe it's jail. Maybe it's a bloody nose. Maybe if the outcome is still negative, you have to say to yourself, okay, I have to do something different, and I need to figure out another way. I don't know what that way is, but this way is not working. So that brother gonna have to try to seek some type of help. And then, are we talking about somebody saved or not? So that makes a big difference too, you know. So, but I think only advice I can give that brother is hopefully it's something in him that wants to change certain outcomes, rather it's jail, being lumped up, or whatever the case is. Hopefully it's something within him that want to change. Because if you ain't got no brothers around you, you ain't got no counseling, and your woman hyping you up, that's a tough situation to be in, man.
I'm laughing because I'm like the woman hyping you up. That is a dangerous thing when you think about, you know, I think about T.I. and Floyd Mayweather, and
that's good.
T.I. thought that he could swing on a professional boxer and win because his woman had hyped him up. Hey, no pun intended, T.I. I'm just saying what was out there in the public. But we want to make sure any advice that I can give would be more of I am the type of guy that need an example. So with all of this access to the internet and YouTube, you know, it's YouTubeversity, whatever it's called, you can just go there and find you any kind of example and just say, hey man, if you do this, this is what will happen. If you don't want to hear me out, but just look at this video. Just check this out, man.
That's good.
Because if you do this, this is what's going to happen. I remember times when I did stuff and I hated the outcome, man. I hated the outcome, but it taught me, you know what I'm saying? If they can learn by hopefully if they can learn by just looking at examples. I think about something that a friend of mine dealt with road rage. It was one day that she was driving to work, and she's driving, and all of a sudden two cars, they kind of get into it. Two people in their cars to get into it, and so they're in traffic, and traffic is going slow also. So one of the guys got out of the car and went and hit the other one.
Ooh.
And then the guy ran back and jumped in his car, and both of the cars took off. And so my friend at the time, she realized, she's like, I did not know that I could do something like that myself. But I saw the outcome that, by example, had she not saw that, she would have still been thinking that I can just be in road rage. I'm simply saying there has to be some type of example that you can look at in order for you to be like, no, I need to make a better decision. It's like when somebody say years ago again.
Years ago.
Yes, sir.
Years
Yes, sir.
ago.
Years ago.
Last
Years
week.
ago.
No,
Last week. When I got my first DUI. This was like when I just turned 19 or something like that. Got my first DUI, man, and I had to go to court and go to these AAA meetings. I'm like, I'm really not an alcoholic. I was just having fun a couple of times. But then I had to pay money and all of that kind of stuff. So I didn't like the outcome. So I just kind of chill out with the drinking. You know what I'm saying? I only did it for a little bit, but once I got off that paper, I was like, I would never do that again. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm simply saying that there has to be some type of example. That's all I'm saying. And hopefully somebody can learn from that.
That's good.
Yeah. For me, I feel like I would tell them to okay, I guess at the end of the day, your environment is more powerful than your nature. And so if you are surrounded by a lot of these type of people that do these type of dealings, it's gonna be tough.
Say that again.
Your environment is stronger than your nature. So even if you want to change, if your environment is set up for you to stay the same, it's going to be hard to make that change. And so I would tell them to start thinking about that. And if they want to change, that's the big part too. If they want to change, and then in the faces of those moments, what I tell teenagers all the time is you have to take time, because time is the only elixir for a fit of rage if you don't have any strategies. That's the only thing that I know of. And so if you're not going to be conscious about taking some deep breaths before you make a decision, pulling yourself away from the situation before you make a decision, or doing something that gives yourself time to calm down from that fit of rage, you're going to be lost, because you're going to keep getting those negative results, because that's the only thing that rage brings is negative results. And that'd be what I would tell them. Like, change your environment, try to, if you can. That's probably the easiest way, because our friends are chosen. We're not conducive to have these friends that we have. They're chosen by us. And then give yourself time. If you're around the wrong woman, like women, they understand how powerful they are, and sometimes they don't. That same motivation can be turned into a positive. There's two sides to everything. And so if you're around the wrong woman, then maybe get the right woman, and she'd promote you to doing something successful, or encourage you to taking a risk on something that's only going to benefit you. And so changing that environment is a big key if you want to change.
Yeah.
That's good, bro.
My mama said this in the comments, said, change your atmosphere. You know yourself and have the power to change it. LaShawn Gunnell said this: examples and experience are the best teachers. Oh my goodness, they going in on this chat. Lady E said, don't forget to discuss Denzel and Tyler Perry pulling him aside afterwards to talk. It's important to have those people. And so, you know, we've been talking and everything, and I just think that is so important. Sometimes if you don't have those people, you got to put more energy to find those people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the reason why you're not finding them is because you're not looking.
Yeah.
Many times everything you have is in your grasp. Everything you need is in your grasp. You're just not focused enough or have a strong enough desire to actually have it. There's some men out there who didn't even think about it. You're right. Everybody, you know, they're starting to look at compare themselves like, man, when I go to this person, man, they amp me up. They amp me up. Nobody ever, you know, helps me calm down or try to cool me down. You know, so doing those different things, those are great suggestions, my brothers. And so that's why I tell people, June 11th, fellas, if you ain't in the building, you can start connecting with some brothers over some food, fun, and fellowship this Saturday. Deadline is Friday, 10 p.m. We'll be at Jack Stack and Lee Summit, Missouri, having some fun, building relationships, connecting. And so, hey, so if you're one of those men that say, hey, I don't have no men in my life who do that, and you're not there Saturday, you ain't serious. You ain't serious. You ain't serious. And so we're this has been great conversation. This has been great dialogue that I know you got a blessing from. And so, fellas, what would be what's the last word? Keith, you start us off, then Pastor Carter, Jr. end us off. What would you say to the men out there, to the women listening, as we talked about Will Smith smacking Chris Rock and our men emotional?
So my final thought would be, when I first seen it, it was heartbreaking. It was very, very heartbreaking to see two pillars of our Black community that worked their way to the positions that they're in, to have that type of interaction on national television in front of everybody to criticize or to have a dialogue about. I would say, man, whatever it is that God has for you, go get it. That's it. In the case of the emotional part of it, that's a part of us. The emotions will, the emotions, if used correctly, become gasoline for us to power ourselves to whatever goals we have. So don't be afraid of your emotions as a man. Tap into them, but use them in a critical, intentional manner. Know when you're mad, know what makes you angry, know what makes you sad, know what makes you happy, and then experience those emotions. Don't try to hide them, don't try to shun them. Experience those emotions so that you can then process and move on to the next emotion, whatever emotion you choose to have. But yeah, like that'll be my ending statement, I guess.
Good, bro.
Good job, brother.
So yeah, the emotional side of us as men, I think that we need to be able to balance that out relative to Romans 12. I'm going Bible on you. Romans 12 verses 1 and 2, specifically verse 2, where it tells us we have to renew our minds. And so, but if you don't have, if you're not saved, we would love for you to get saved, amen, so that you can start renewing your mind. But if you need therapy also, please do that. But I'm just simply saying, from a biblical perspective, what helped change me was spending time in the Word of God.
Me too.
And aligning myself with that, so that I'll know how to treat my wife, treat people, and treat my children. And so I would never allow anybody to pull me out of character. I'm sorry, it shouldn't even be character. I would not allow anyone to pull me out of what I know is the truth of God's word. As long as I know I have emotions, I have a flesh, but I have to balance it out with the word of God and know who's talking to me at that time, because our flesh got a voice, the devil got a voice, and the word of God is what we have to submit to. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's good, bro. That's good.
good job, brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Pastor Carter out. The word says it is not good for man to be alone. And in context, we know that God gave Adam a helpmeet or helpmate or helpmeet. But in principle, it's not good for man to be alone. Anytime man is alone, it does something to him. Think about the prison system. The prison system, anytime a man do something stupid, they isolate him and it drives him crazy. He got a lot of thinking, but he can't even think right because he's alone in the darkness. And I think Will Smith and Chris Rock is great examples of this. I think Chris Rock, with the therapy, he had somebody. And I think Will Smith was a loner. And if he had somebody, he had the wrong people. That's why this, what Brother Keith said earlier, this fit of rage was able to overtake him, because it's not good for man to be alone. So my final remarks would be, to any brothers out there, man, find you a godly example. Like Pastor Carter say, find you an example of a man that's living right. Find you an example of a man that I mean, I know every man ain't walking right, but maybe he seemed to be walking right. This might be the best example because it's not good for man to be alone.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we've shared all of this with you so that you can understand that God has a purpose for you, that God has a plan for you. And even you may have been the Will Smith situation and reacted how Will Smith reacted. And what you can't do is you can't beat yourself up so much that you're not able to move forward. And so taking these principles, connecting with other fellows, if you got to get therapy. You need to be in around people that you can honestly express yourself without allowing those emotions to dictate and control your life. And so I think it's imperative that, especially as brothers, that we understand that, hey, we are emotional. We do have emotions. We have emotions more than just anger and rage. We can be nurturers. We can be lovers. We can be all of these wonderful things. And so don't just belittle yourself or put yourself in this box and say, hey, this is what a man is. A man is much greater than his rage. A man is much greater than his anger, you know? And so I think it's imperative that we as men, we bond together, we're close together, that we have open and honest dialogues, because it's through those open and honest dialogues that we're able to grow, that we're able to learn, that we're able to see things from a different perspective. I appreciate all my brothers for the simple fact there are times we're talking and they just say something that I didn't think of. Right. And I don't get mad. Oh, you think you this? No, I take that jewel, put that in the pocket, add it. I may give them credit the next time I say it, but then after that, hey, that's mine.
Yes, sir.
and so we are greater than me. We are greater than me. And so you don't have to be alone. You don't have to walk through this life alone. And so, matter of fact, I encourage, if there's anybody out there who feel like you're all alone, you don't have a relationship with God, that can change tonight. That can change right at this moment. At this moment, you can confess Jesus as Lord and Savior, and then you will not be alone. And here's the amazing thing, and I'm a living witness. I'm a living witness about this, that those moments where you feel like you're all by yourself and you don't know what you're going to do, and you find that relationship with God and you get submitted to God, you're seeking after God, God will show you favor. He'll raise up people to use their power and ability, influence to help you. He'll bring the right people at the right time to be able to give you those things that you're lacking or you feel like you're lacking. Maybe you need somebody, an encourager. Maybe you need somebody who is just going to be real and honest. Maybe you need somebody that when you want to go to 10, they'll be able to talk to you and not push you over the edge, but help you come back down. Whatever the case may be, understand that it starts with your relationship with God. Because let's be honest, you can have all the right people, but if you ain't got God, all those right people are there at the wrong time because you're not fully ready. And so if you know you need a relationship with Jesus, go ahead and confess Jesus, your Lord and Savior, by texting Jesus to 816-670-3684. We'll call you tonight to pray with you, to show you your next steps, because you don't have to walk this thing alone. My brother Will Parker Jr. said, it is not good for man to be alone. He's talking relationally. We were never created to walk alone without relationship. And I know what somebody said, well, I got God. Adam had God and animals. He had God and pets. And God still said it's not good for man to be alone. So your pet, your dog, your cat, it just does not fulfill that void that you have in your life. It starts with your relationship with God, and then God brings the right people at the right time so that you can be the very best you that you could possibly be. And so make sure you text Jesus to 816-670-3684. It don't have to be a Sunday morning. That's the wonderful thing about our God. Our God reigns even on a Wednesday night, a
Yes,
Thursday
sir.
morning. You can be watching the replay of this, and it may be a Saturday, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you can still text you. Now, we ain't calling you 2 o'clock in the morning. We'll call you about 8 or 9 next day. But you can do it, and you will have a relationship with Jesus, and your life will begin to progress and move forward. And so I'm so excited for everyone who's confessed Jesus, Lord, who's text Jesus, and we're going to give you a call to pray with you, to go through the prayer of salvation with you. And this is going to be the best day of your life. And so I'm so excited. Come on, y'all, give my brothers a big hand clap. Give my brothers a big hand.
Man cave.
Awesome job. Awesome job. And so I want to remind you this your opportunity to sow into the kingdom. What we're doing is we're taking our teams to Love City. So all of our Wednesday offerings are going to do that. We got everybody registered and their registration paid. We got the vehicles on hold ready for us. We just got to get some gas to get them there back and get them some food and stuff. And so we're so grateful. I'm so excited that we even have made it this far. I know it's already done. I see our young people going. I see our young people coming back, transformed, renewed, on fire for God, ready to take the city for Jesus. And so if you know you want to be a part of this giving, simply by you can use our text to give, you can use our cash. I'm putting my brothers in the studio so y'all can sort of make it a little bit bigger. And so you can give through our Cash App. Just go to Teen Fund, and there you can use the QR code. And if you're watching on your computer, you can just take your camera, and it'll bring up a link. And you click that link, and it's simple, very simple. It's very secure, that your privacy and your information is protected. We're very big on making sure we're protecting you in every single way. And so this is your opportunity to sow into the kingdom. The Bible says, give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that you meet, it will be measured back to you. As simply God says, hey, if you trust me and you sow, there's going to be seed, then there's going to be some time, and then there's going to be a harvest. And you control your harvest by the amount of seed that you sow. Oh my goodness. And so that is the wonderful thing about our gracious and wonderful God, is that when we operate in his principle and his word and his power, he does the supernatural. So when we sow our seed, even given to the young people going to Love City, whether through Cash App, text to give, or the QR code, when you sow that seed, your expectation could be that it will come back to you through a harvest. Some may be 30, some may be 60, some may be 100-fold, even 1,000 times more. But God will do exactly what he said he would do. And so I'm so excited. I'm so excited as you're sowing your seed. I pray that you're being a cheerful giver, because God said he loves a cheerful giver, that you're celebrating God for all that he has done and he's yet doing in your life. And so I'm so thank you for rocking with us. We know that you were blessed. So from me, for all my brothers from the Man Cave, we'll be back next week to have even more dialogue and conversation. And so God bless you. You have a good one last thing. Please be in prayer for our family. Be in prayer for Aretha Harris. My aunt Gloria Harris went home to be with the Lord on today. And so just be in prayer for our family. Keep Aretha, that's her daughter, and Christian, her grandson, in prayer. Through this difficult time, we understand that when people transition to go home, we celebrate that they are going home with Jesus. But then we also got to be realistic. So, hey, that separation that is broken, it brings sadness. It brings different emotions. And so we want to keep her up, that God continues to strengthen her and watch her, because we know our God is a protecting God. And so we're going to put our arms around Aretha and Christian and love on them as a family do. So y'all keep us in prayer. So God bless you. God bless you. We'll see you next week. Peace.